Welcome, everyone, to the Legendary Faith Podcast. My name is Alisa Massey, and I am so glad that you've joined. Oh my gosh, why did I shut my Bible? Will you shut that off, please?
Oh,
Welcome, everyone, to the Legendary Faith Podcast. My name is Alisa Massey, and I am so grateful that you're joining me today. In today's episode 62, Take Courage, Jesus is here. I want to inspire you to believe in miracles again. And I myself was inspired by another Christian podcast in which I felt like I needed to be reminded of the miracle works of Jesus. Now, why did I need to be reminded? So many of us feel this way, but I challenge you to just believe. And so I want you to look at Mark 6:30, in which Jesus feeds 5,000. The disciples witnessed this miracle performed by Jesus. And they're inspired, right? They're like, yes, Jesus did this very miracle. They're so inspired. Like, we're inspired by other miracles. But we go down to Mark 6:45, and Jesus walks on water. And he does another miracle. Yet, the disciples feel like they need to be reminded. They had already forgot the miracle that Jesus did when he fed the 5,000 with leftovers, right? And so let's read Mark 6:47 through 52. Late that night, the disciples were in their boat in the middle of the lake, and Jesus was alone on land. He saw that they were in serious trouble, rowing hard and struggling against the wind and the waves. About 3 o'clock in the morning, Jesus came toward them, walking on water. He intended to go past them, but when they saw him walking on the water, they cried out in terror, thinking he was a ghost. They were all terrified when they saw him. But Jesus spoke to them at once. "Don't be afraid," he said. "Take courage. I am here." Then he climbed into the boat and the wind stopped. They were totally amazed, for they didn't understand the significance of the miracle of the loaves. Their hearts were too hard to take it in. And I want to challenge you today. What has your heart become hardened for? What has hardened your heart so much that you are unable to receive the miracle works of Jesus? Folks, Jesus still does miracles. And yet, he can do a miracle in your life. But sometimes we are unable to receive the miracle because our hearts are hardened by the world and the many distractions that the devil tries to put in our way to keep us from receiving our miracle. So today, I encourage you to do like Jesus said, to take courage, because Jesus is here. You know, and taking courage means fighting through the pain. You know, we're not without fear, but we choose to carry through the wind and the rain and the waves despite the storm. We choose to fight against the tide. Take courage because Jesus is near. And so what has hardened your heart today? We can't allow the things to keep us from our great destiny that Jesus has for us. We have to be encouraged. We shouldn't have to be reminded of Jesus' miracle works. We need to be encouraged. But it's all about perspective. We must truly believe. And if you're struggling with belief, just be honest with God. He knows everything about us. Just ask Jesus. Say, Jesus, please help me to believe. I am doubting, but help me to believe. Because Jesus knows that we're not perfect. But Jesus is perfect, which is why we must take courage against the storm and choose to believe again. And of course we'll be tempted. Of course we'll be tempted to doubt that we can receive a miracle. But look around in the world today, and so many people need a miracle. I too have needed many miracles in my life. And some I've not yet received. But I have taken heart, and I choose to not let my heart be hardened. Because as long as I have Jesus, I still have hope. And what keeps my mind off the miracle that I need, that I want, is serving others, is thinking about others. And it can be so hard to get into our shell and to get consumed with ourselves. But we have to think outside the box. Remember that we were created to serve, to go out and make disciples. Jesus said, go out and make disciples. And this includes when you're in pain. This includes in your struggle, because we all struggle. We all need a miracle. But this miracle is drawing us closer to each other. It's making us more certain of our purpose. And sometimes people may not get their miracle until their last day on earth. Sometimes that is the miracle. And we don't know until that happens. But we can believe that it's great and awesome. You know, our loved ones, they're no longer having to struggle on this earth. But we are left with the pain. We are left with the struggle. But take heart, take courage, because Jesus is here. He's here for you and I. But you just have to believe. And we all think we need reminded. You know, the disciples needed to reminded. For they did not understand the significance of the miracle of the loaves. Their hearts were too hard to take it in. What is your heart hard against? What is preventing you from receiving your miracle? So, we must also keep our focus on Jesus, because that is a major struggle in the pain, in the persecution, in the lack. We always put all of our attention on the struggle and the pain because it's hard. But you know, sometimes we have to go against the grain. We have to show others that we can press through. We can choose to smile through the pain. I'm inspired by others who have sick children, and they still have heart to help others, to share with others. And I'm inspired by that. So don't hold back your story. Be an encouragement to someone else, because we all have something to share. And we all have struggle. And it's okay. We all relay our messages in different ways according to our gifts. My gift, I do it via camera, audio, and it's not always perfect, but I press through because I'm passionate about it. I learn, I grow. And then sometimes in my struggle, I take a step back. I think, well, and then I start questioning things. But then the next day is a fresh new day, and I'm thinking, no, I can't just not take action. I've got to keep on pressing on. And that's what you've got to do. What are your strengths? What are you good at? What do you feel in your heart that you should be doing? The time is short. The time is now to keep your focus on Jesus. Keep your focus on receiving the miracle. And take the encouragement of the Bible. But know that you don't have to be reminded. Be encouraged. But don't think you have to be reminded. Don't forget the miracle works of Jesus, because there are many in this book. And we need that hope today. We need that strength to get through in this life. I don't want to think about the alternative. I started walking down that path, and that's why I'm so passionate about what I do today. You know, I walked down that path, and the misery in my soul, and you know, I had that just mustard seed of hope, and it kept nudging at me. And I still have an anger problem today. I get angry. I get angry about just people not going into their purpose. And these are things we can't control. We have to give it to God, because we are not in control. We can't allow the world to make us angry. I can't be in control anymore. I've got to give it to my Maker. I've got to give it to my Maker that He has the miracle in store, that He has the answer. And I can be at peace with that. I may struggle, but I can be at peace. And the moment I keep my eyes off Jesus is a moment I'm not at peace anymore. So I'd rather struggle with Jesus than without Him. So folks, I am praying today that you do receive the miracle that you so want, that you so need. And if you don't need a miracle at this time, be a miracle for someone else. Be an encouragement for someone else. We're all in this together. And I pray for each and every one of you that your miracle will happen soon. Let this be an encouragement to you today, that your miracle will come true soon. I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. And remember, the best is yet to come.